everyone, I'm going to do this little weekly segment here where we're just going to play catch up on the most recent events going on amongst us on social media and, I don't know, pop culture, whatever the fuck I feel like talking about, really. So right now we're going to start off with this nonsense from Katie Joy real quick.
Why can't you just get over it? Why can't you just move on? Well, now she has a baby and they're vaping on live with their baby, possibly using substances because neither one.
I'm sorry, what was that? Did she say vaping or baking? Because, like, I know she's on TikTok Live, and I know she can't, or she probably at least doesn't want to risk it and say they're getting baked. So I don't put it past her to say something like they're baking. But it sounded like she said vaping. Are people not allowed to vape now when they're parents? Is that it? Do you have like a very short window, at least in New York State, where you can't even buy the shit anymore at 18? Now you have to be 21. You mean to tell me that between 21 and when you have kids is the only time in your life you're allowed to vape? Is that it? Seriously, is that it? Holy shit, Narco Joy.
One of them has had treatment for what they use.
What's that? Nicotine? Maybe some of the devil's lettuce, possibly. Holy shit.
They're doing a whole lot of traveling with an infant.
No.
And doing a whole lot of partying with an infant, which partying and having an infant are not conducive. I don't know if you're aware.
Oh my God. So those of you who are about my age, born in the 70s, 80s, yeah, even the 90s, can you imagine what life would have been like if we were all taken away by CPS every time our parents sat around the house and had a fucking drink?
I don't know what kind of life that child has with her and Ken, a life of instability. What is she modeling to her child by, even if it's an infant, where she's, spending time with her significant other while they're live in active fights, and the father of the daughter is, saying, let's go. Let's have a boxing match. But it's really not a boxing match, you guys. He's not asking that. He's asking for them to throw down.
Oh no. Katie Joy's never had a really great night out drinking. As me, your neighborhood friendly bartender, has always said, it's a good night out drinking when you get in a fight or you get laid. It's a great night when you do both with the same person. Evidently, Katie has never had a great night out.
Yeah, Ken just wants money for sure. Well, that's their sole income.
Get the fuck out of here. Their sole income is money? And he wants that? I don't know, man. I guess not everyone can just deal in like reindeer shit or something like people do in Hangover, Minnesota. Which, no offense to any of you Minnesotians. I apologize. You guys don't deserve to be all lumped in with her. I'm sure y'all don't claim her or whatever, but she does kind of make your state look bad. Sorry.
And where do you go if you want to have a party in Florida? Just going to ask you real quick. Anyone know?
The beach?
Where do you go in Florida if you really want to have a party? And what part of Florida is which city in Florida is a hub for the illegal importation of certain substances? Where do you go if you want to go skiing in Florida? I mean, Miami is literally like...
Okay. Not only is Katie Joy's house covered in 90s aesthetic, which you can't help but to notice in every video and upload and live stream she does, but also her frame of thought is stuck in the 90s too, because she's still thinking that the best coke or all the coke comes into this country through Miami, through Pablo Escobar's fucking Caribbean route or some shit like that. Like, dude, Cocaine Cowboys ended a long time ago. Okay, they made movies about this. Okay, once Hollywood starts making movies about the way, the route a cartel smuggles drugs into the country, any decent drug organization is going to then create a new route. They're not going to keep using the same route that Paramount just told the FBI and DEA about, right? Okay. But I feel like I should do this a little bit of due diligence here, though. So 1 second here. Okay, so real quick, I Googled Where is the most cocaine smuggled into the States? The primary route is through Mexico and the U.S.-Mexico border. Most of it entering the United States crosses the U.S.-Mexico border, much of it into Texas. I want to say Southern California. Dominant role. They utilize various methods, including commercial trucks, private rental vehicles. They also dig tunnels. I was amazed when I saw some of that workmanship. Pacific route significance. Yep. Okay. I feel like I should do this a little bit more due diligence. So one more search. Is most coke brought into the States through Miami? Well, historically, like way back in the 90s aesthetics and all, Miami played a significant role in cocaine trafficking into the United States, particularly during the cocaine cowboys era of the 1980s. It's important to note that the majority of coke entering the United States, I don't know why I'm whispering that word now, but I am. Entering the U.S. now comes through the Central American Mexican corridor and across the southwest border with Mexico. Here's a breakdown of current information. Yeah. So it's not like a major hub. I'm sure that, some of it still comes through. However, I think that for the most part, if they're not, then they really should be utilizing the eastern coast of Florida more so than the Gulf of Mexico, since that's like actually part of the Caribbean almost, or, part of like that whole like Bermuda Triangle thing, where the outside of Florida on the East Coast really isn't. I feel like they also blend in more there. I don't know. Every single time I ever played that like drug kingpin, like, I don't know, app game or whatever, I always lost. So I could just really suck at this. Back to the video.
Oh, Rod and Christy were there? Well, I'm sure they were doing it too. And just to be clear, Ken likes to have snow, but the reason why Rod wasn't around in Gypsy's life for almost all of her childhood is because Rod loves to ski. Rod loves skiing. He's like a double Black Hill Diamond skier. He and Ken have a lot in common.
I can't help but to notice these references she keeps using to explain this specific illegal activity. She's talking like someone who's, been a bit of a pro at talking in code, wouldn't you say? Yeah. I think someone's got that double diamond tattooed on their fucking back.
He disappeared for months and months and months because...
What kind of money is he making, or was he making, that he could disappear for months and months and months doing code? That's what I want to know. And are they hiring? I gotta say though, watching these things and looking at the chat, I have to just say it's getting a little annoying. Everyone throwing out comments and just saying, "I think Ken bats for the other team" or something. First of all, wouldn't it be the home team? If that's who he was into, they would be the home team, right? The other team would be the opposite gender, right? So wouldn't it make more sense to say, I think he bats for the home team? I'm just saying, I digress. Either way, who gives a fuck? Are you mad that you're not getting his bat? Is that it? I think so.
Blocking are really common on offshore rigs. They have to work really long hours. Common on offshore rigs. Ice, what is it?
She's talking
ice blocking.
About, she's talking about Walter White's little concoction there. Okay.
Are really common on offshore rigs.
Well, now we know where Katie Joy has spent her summers growing up.
It's not speculation that Rod likes to ski. That's a fact.
I guess we know who Katie's skiing partner is then. I mean, how else would that be a fact if you're not sitting there doing it right next to him, with him? How else is that not a fact? Like, even if his wife, what the hell's her name? Christy. Even if Christy sat there and said to you, he did half a ball last night, that doesn't make it fact, right? And surely someone who's an independent journalist and who is relying on this self-implied title to get her out of litigation would know that is not a fact, right?
A ski straw? Yes, a ski straw.
Amateur. If you're not using a roll-up $100, what the fuck are we even doing here?
But the prison emails 100% show who she is, what she's about, how she acts, how she triangulates, what her agenda was while she was in prison. She didn't care about getting better. She cared about flirting, meeting guys, talking to them, scamming them. And I found it interesting that Ryan's response wasn't that he wanted to know more about what she was doing. He was just mad that they were released because he's a good guy. Now, she did absolutely lie about Ryan. Like, I don't think anyone should believe a single word she's saying about the 5-year-old and that kind of stuff. I just don't buy it. And did you guys see the email that she sent to Ken where she said, I always just your mom says you're gay and I always thought you were gay. So that's what she says to Ken every time they're in a fight. Ken's gay and Ryan is doing bad things to children in her eyes. That's what she does.
Wait. Okay, holy shit. You mean to tell me that whenever she gets angry or gets in a fight or is not getting along with someone in her life, that suddenly, at that moment, that person she's on the outs with is now doing all of these horrible, nefarious things, like Amy Duggar King, like, oh yeah, she knew what that rod was all about. Yeah, come to find out, she knew all about it, right, Katie? Right? Uh-huh. For fuck's sake.
When I read the messages, all I saw was someone that's vindictive and triangulates and retaliates. And I thought,
well, I guess if all people to spot one, that would be you.
you have a lot of time in prison to do a lot of effective things, and you did none of those.
You didn't have to.
I was on Breeze Live and got muted and blocked.
See, I don't really care. I don't give a shit about Gypsy Rose. I really don't. I don't give a shit. But it does kind of annoy me a little bit when I keep hearing all these people talk about how she didn't use her time in prison wisely. She didn't do it she didn't come out to be an advocate, to create change for something or someone or whatever. She didn't have to. She didn't owe anyone that. She least of all fucking owed any of us anything like that. She could have sat in prison like a fucking lump on the log if she wanted to. The point was is that she was locked up doing her time. That's what she did. That's what she owed. And the only people she owed anything to were to the loved ones of her victim. And I'd even argue and say the community in which they were from, they lived in, where the crime happened, whatever. That's it. Nobody else was owed a fucking thing. Least of all, Katie Joy.
Were you like talking on the panel? And she muted you and blocked you? In the time I knew them, I was very limited in my postings about her. I never made regular content on my channel. Gypsy was never a focus of my content on a daily.
If anyone's watching this shit on TikTok, she's lying to you all. She's fucking lying. Seriously, there's a subreddit, okay, called Without a Crystal Ball Official. It's actually a bunch of people who just got sick and tired of her bullshit kind of took over her old official subreddit, and now we all run it and we all share things that kind of just, I don't know, keep her story straight, you could say. Seriously, check it out because she's lying to everyone.
And like not very often. I was not going to be someone that want to fight with their people. I routinely told them to turn off.
I know a lot of acquaintances of Ken's himself too.
Okay, so what's the 411?
Really not too much other than he's definitely had a bad drug problem, especially when he was here in Florida.
Okay, when we're up here, we say rugs or we say...
I'm sorry.
Or we say skiing hubs.
I'm kind of thinking they're all in it together to make a little bit more money because the money is running out.
I don't know if money's running out or not, but yeah, street beefs. Do you think Katie would do street beefs? I don't know. I know Unirock won't. I tried that already.
The fact that he's easily coerced and controlled. I mean, if you look at all the evidence, she planned all aspects of it. I haven't seen, like, she doesn't show well, I think some people have said she's shown the face and other people say that she's small, and I don't know. Gypsy's a really small person though herself.
She is. Yeah, she's like 4'11". I'm 4'11". 4'11". I'm 4'11" too. So, but yeah, I saw the pictures in the hospital, and to me, I know she has microcephaly.
I'm 5'3". I would give anything to be like 5'10", 6 feet. I mean, I tell you, this one time at work, a 10 bar, and one of the local colleges, the girls' basketball team came in. I mean, we're talking really tall, gorgeous women. And they just walk through the restaurant, and it's like they're Moses, and it's the Red Sea. Everyone gets the fuck out of their way, is what I'm saying. I walk through the mall, and I get kicked in the shins. It's just, I wish I was tall.
The recent one was them in Miami Beach and Ken challenging Ryan to a fight, which I don't know how that really is beneficial to anyone.
I hope people don't fall for that. I really feel like that was...
Oh, I'd watch that shit. Oh, yeah.
And doing a whole lot of partying with an infant, which partying and having an infant are not conducive. I mean, we've all gone through it as parents. We've all had those days. You don't post photos of it.
No, especially the one with the baby crying and a video of, that was ridiculous.
Oh, the colic? When she's like dealing with colic, yeah. Like the last thing you should do when you're dealing with that is posting about it online.
Yo, Katie posted pictures of her kid having a meltdown when he was a toddler, and she was laughing at him. Wow.
Drinking during her parole. Even after that, like Jazz Fest and like She went out with her cousins and to a bar and got so hammered. Like, her acting like getting off parole was the first time she had a drop is just a lie.
It's all the act. I mean, the whole thing is an act, just like the show, just the act.
Yes, it hasn't stopped.
No, not at all. It's actually gotten worse, I believe. She's got away with so much that it doesn't faze her. It's actually only getting worse.
It's emboldening her.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, this is driving me crazy. Listen, like, you can say whatever you want about Gypsy Rose. I really don't give a shit. I don't care. But to act like this child had anything resembling a normal childhood, and that she's now this entitled fucking bitch out here going to the bars and shit, like she shouldn't, the nerve of her. Well, you know damn well that none of you bitches were sitting your ass home at that age either. Okay. And in fact, you probably, well, maybe you were by that age because you got it all out in your 20s, the years where she was in prison. And sure, it was her own fucking fault for getting in prison. No doubt. Whatever. She put herself there. All right. I hear you there. But the chick can go to a fucking bar and have a drink. Y'all are trying to cancel this bitch in real life and you can't.
Absolutely. And her family saying that they care about her. I mean, to hold her accountable, it would teach her, to show her. I mean, she has ruined her entire, her mother's name, her father's name. I mean, she's literally just buried everybody and no one has held her accountable. And that is not healthy.
No, that was one of my last fights with Christy before I stopped talking to her. I told her that she was enabling her. And I said that I told Christy she lied to everyone and said that this was only going to be like a one-time thing and that they were just doing this to tell her story. And I said,
and at that moment,
Christy
Blanchard realized that she let a complete lunatic into her family's lives. Yeah, that's why she got the fuck out.
you guys are obviously in this for the wrong reasons. Her therapist in Louisiana who said that you are toxic is not lying. Like this, in what mind did you think that sticking a camera in her face the minute she got out was going to do good?
Right. And all of her emails coming out. I mean, this is who she is. That she fools everybody into thinking she was just a child back then when these are like 2 and 3 years ago, that she's a grown woman. It blows my mind.
She's 34.
Yes.
So I just want to, like, I started this live off by saying, she said in Ken's live that she wanted to apologize for her being immature because she was so young and, she was inexperienced. This was a girl that had a bus pass, that had
social media.
Oh my God, that's it. She had a bus pass. She was so fucking worldly then. She's done it all. She had a bus pass.
That had social media, that had a line, that went to Walmart by herself without her mom with, and went and got the object that her ex co-defendant.
She went to Walmart without her mom and bought a knife. She could do it all, man. She like fucking Mary Tyler Moore throwing her fucking hat up in the air, right? Yeah.
Used.
Holy shit, I'm dating myself.
With her bus pass. Then she stole money from her mom and she mailed it and she organized the getaway. Like she was
obviously not very well since she got caught.
Communicated the entire thing.
correct. She wasn't innocent. Like innocent, naive people.
Wait, were we saying that she wasn't innocent or that she wasn't some naive woman with no worldly experience? Because they don't necessarily go hand in hand,
The best person I can think of Jordan Turpin, escaping from her parents, not even knowing what a police officer was.
Absolutely. And then she goes on and says that, just because she doesn't act like the victim and, then that doesn't mean she's not the victim. No, there are things that you look out for, when someone is abused, they have to, like, things, like, first of all, triggers. I mean, she says she was medically abused, got out, and then got a nose job in her teeth. That would trigger the hell out of me.
Oh, yeah. None of her behaviors match.
Okay. People who have been SA'd before, they do usually go on to have sex, consensual sex in the future, because then they're in control. Then it's on their terms. So someone who was medically abused in the past might actually initiate a doctor's visit for themselves as an adult, because then they're in control.
And they keep pushing aside what the reason is why she did this to her mother. The reason is she wanted to be with men, and her mother was. I mean, it's very clear. I mean, that's the reason.
The motive was
the chick wanted to hook up with dudes. Wow, fucking bitch.
She wanted eggplant.
Right.
I've had Nick's dad in here. I've had his uncle. Lots of people have been around here. Like, I've talked to so many people.
Why are any of you people fucking trusting this woman? I swear to God. Oh my God. Like, I get that, like, people my age are, relatively close to my age. They grew up watching like actual reporters and journalists and shit doing interviews on TV. So the title kind of comes with a sense of, I don't know, credibility. It's a bit distinguished, so you're automatically going to be a bit trusting of the person. I get that. I'm the same way. But when it's anything less than that, or anything other than that, then anything other than Barbara Walters or Diane Sawyer or whoever the fuck ever. Okay, when it's anyone other than them, and it's someone from YouTube, you don't trust them. And this goes for me included, because I'm emboldened to no one. Okay. Like, I got no fucking, I don't know, giant media broadcasting company breathing down my neck. No one's buying ads on my shit. I'm seriously, I'm a loose cannon. So is she.
Nick was just a easy target for her.
Absolutely.
And she's doing the same thing to Bree. She's doing the same thing to Ken. She's doing the same thing to Ryan. It's just her MO will never change because it's what she does. It's all she knows how to do.
And that's why her lessons will repeat themselves, because she has never learned her lesson, and no one has held.
With patterns, then are able to spot their own patterns. Cheetahs can spot the other cheetahs by the patterns, right? I think that's a saying or some shit like that.
And that to me is the biggest thing. Like my family, if I did, I couldn't even compare to doing anything that Gypsy has done, but my family, it's important to hold the person accountable. Not lock her up for life. I can see where they're coming at. They don't want her to be in prison. They want her to have a life. I get that. But to hold her accountable is important.
You don't get that. That's the problem.
It will teach her. It will help her grow. That's why she has never grown. She has never once been held accountable. I don't even think she wiped her own.
The bitch spent 9 years in prison, but she's never once been held accountable.
But until she was, 24 years old.
Well, she did some of that, but yeah, Dee Dee did everything for her. Everything.
And that's why the house, I think, was so, a mess. And from what I understand, her mother wasn't like that before until she got sick. And then, Gypsy wasn't going to pick up the other end and help, take care of her mother and take care of the house and things like that. She was a spoiled little brat.
I know. And Gypsy said, Gypsy made a video in like March and was trying to explain to people like how her mom.
So let me get this straight. This girl who, whether by her doing or her mom's doing, whatever, feigned all these illnesses or whatever, it played into the feigning of these illnesses her entire life, was either pretending to not be able to walk or really believe she couldn't walk. She was suddenly in a drop of a hat supposed to turn into like Superwoman over here and take care of her mom and an entire house at what, like 18 years of age, when she's never even spent a day in school. Really?
Put a feeding tube in her for like all the wrong reasons. But then privately on a phone call, Gypsy said to me, yeah, I was in the hospital for like 2 months. And I was like, you were? She's like, yeah. And I was like, when I got my feeding tube. Why? I was doing a feeding clinic and they were trying to get me to gain weight. And I wasn't gaining weight.
Yeah. Well, you can see when she even talks now, with the drooling and everything, everybody is so confused on the whole, with having her salivary glands removed. But you can tell she has issues. And I'm surprised. And that's another thing I want to find out with the acquaintances that we have. I know she's having problems, and whether she's addressing them or not.
No, she's in denial of them. So like Rod and Christy won't allow her to like accept that she has these things. Instead, Rod is like an ableist and he doesn't want to have a child that has a disability. So he's just going to force her to deny that she has these things.
That's so ignorant.
And he blames it all on Dee Dee. And I told them that like one of my last conversations with Christy was, you've done a disservice to her, because truly, if you wanted to advocate for her, you would accept that she has some of these disabilities and that you would have a mental health evaluation done, which would do a cognitive function of her, which would clearly show a cognitive impairment.
How about maybe just everyone else just stay the fuck out of her medical care? Why don't we leave that to her in her control with her physicians for once? She they pointed out she's 34 years old. She hasn't been able to have that. Even in prison, she doesn't have much of a say. She doesn't have bodily autonomy in prison even. And now afterwards, the internet doesn't want her to have it because they want to be able to play doctor on this chick. Now, they want to make the decisions for her healthcare and her mental health care. How about no?
Absolutely. You can tell. They're not, I think it's all about the money.
This is Katie just being her helpful self here. Let me help you with that, Gypsy. Let me help you fucking get in front of this bus and get run over. How about that?
It blows my mind because it's not love. If they loved her, they would definitely help her, and they're not helping her. They're leeching off of her. But like I said, the money is going to run out. And then,
But you guys love her? Is that it? You guys just love her? Okay.
No, where's she going to be? And I don't think that she's capable of taking care of this baby by herself, for sure.
Well, they told me that she's like a 12-year-old. That's how they literally said she's like a toddler, 12-year-old. She has no impulse control. She can't make decisions on her own. She has to be reminded to do.
But somehow though, okay, see, this is where you lose me, Katie. You're sitting there saying, well, they tell me that she's like a 12-year-old. She's impulsive. She can't make any decisions on herself or whatever. Where literally, like not even 5 minutes ago, you're saying how, well, she all by herself, she got a bus pass. She went to Walmart and bought a knife. She planned their getaway route or whatever. Obviously not well because they got caught. But you're jotting things down, listing these things as though this is evidence for how she is very capable. Well, which is it? I guess it's whatever narrative the public relations company wants you to spin at that time. Is that it? Allegedly, in my opinion.
Pushed over, and it sounded like a straw.
Mm-hmm.
And I
I saw
thought,
that much.
But did it look like a Q-tip going up the nose?
And I can smell. I mean, if somebody vapes near me, even if I'm, sitting in a restaurant and somebody vapes near me, I can smell that. It's not like.
All right, the nicotine, yeah, I can smell it. The weed, I can smell it. But it's those motherfuckers who are smoking like the cotton candy water vapor that piss me off, because I turn around thinking I can see cotton candy, and I don't. It's like bait and switch or some shit. It's just, I don't know, it's not cool.
It just smells.
Nelly Belly is unreliable. And Gypsy doesn't live in the bayou anymore. She lives like several hours away now she's like right outside of New Orleans in Metairie. I don't know what the city's called. Metairie, it's like a suburb.
Want to go to street address too while you're at
People
it?
haven't seen them out.
Okay, back from break. Sometimes you just kind of have to take up the opportunity for the midnight swim when you still can. Now, I want to move on to a little bit of local kind of news for my area. So we have a group called, we have a chapter group called Moms for Liberty here in Oneida County. And, their spokesperson likes to talk a lot of shit, but only online. But let's check it out anyway. From 2 days ago, Mary Kay says, does your school district promote the Trevor Project space? Clinton Central School District does. This site is filled with a cesspool of pedophilias and groomers preying on children. See, now that I look at this and I see preying, it just really sounds like they're preying on top of the children. They're preying. See, these are the kind of common misconceptions that you're really just going to start unknowingly if you don't know your native language, Mary Kay. Learn English, okay? Well, radar case against groomers.com post Trevor's face. Okay. And here, underneath the preying on children, she shares from Clinton Central School District. It's Transgender Awareness Week. Transgender people are those who know themselves to be one gender, but who were labeled a different gender at birth. According to the CDC, almost 2% of high school students identify as transgender, meaning there are at least 1.2 million transgender people ages 0 to 17. During Transgender Awareness Week, please remember to don't assume someone's gender. Be supportive and a good listener. Practice active allyship. For resources, more information, please visit www.thetrevorproject.org. Seems innocuous enough, right? No, of course not. So here we have the comments. Of course, Clinton is promoting this. Grooming Central, she says, but she didn't say praying Central. Seriously, they're going to say ages 0 through 17. Give me a break. That is grooming. Okay, no, they say ages 0 through 17 because after that, they're adults. And they're also probably aged out of the school system. So they're not going to really give a shit what's going on at the school. That's why they say 0 to 17. I mean, really, technically, I guess they could say like 5 to 17 because not every child goes to school before kindergarten. But whatever. Let's not get too bogged down in the semantics of it. Give me a break. That is grooming. Do what you want as an adult, which interestingly is over the age of 17. But until then, stop pushing this garbage on the kids. You see, here's the thing. That's the point. While in school, it's not over the age of 17. It's still under the age of 18. Mostly, anyway. You could have been like me and gotten held back a grade and actually graduated at 19, sure. Or maybe you could have been like my son and did well in school and started early and graduated at like 17, whatever. But the point is that when you're in school, You're not an adult. This is why this is available then and there. And no one's pushing this. Seriously, think about this. Imagine, close your eyes, close your eyes. Imagine this for a second, okay? It's, well, all right. We'll go with my age. Okay, whatever. It's like 1990, okay? You're back in school. You're hanging out at this after school club or something new. You know, you got some time to kill. You're like 15, 16, whatever. So you're bored, you're sitting there. And then people come in and start telling you, oh, you look like a girl. Well, if you're me, hopefully it's what they were thinking then anyway. You look like a girl, but you really want to be a boy, don't you? You should be a boy. In what world would any of us would have been like, oh, okay. This isn't being pushed on anyone. This is an opportunity for those already feeling and dealing with this to have a safe space to do so. Welcome to Clinton Central School District. Sounds like a pretty fabulous place to me. I don't know. I'm like 2 school districts away here. I wouldn't mind living there. Same old story, just new names attached to the grooming tactics programs. Clinton Central School District never lets you down, that's for sure. Grooming Central. Like, do you have any other just like generic fucking witless comebacks besides Grooming Central? Why would a school district, as a child, their pronouns, and is this, I think she means, why would a school district ask a child their pronouns? And is this something that is run by the parents first? Because in elementary and even junior high, this could be so overly confusing to a young mind. You're right, because half the kids in 7th grade, they don't know what fucking gender they are, right? They're just walking around in dresses thinking, shit, should I be wearing a jockstrap? I mean, come on. It's not confusing. Especially if their parents are not teaching them that they are or can be anything other than a boy or what? Especially if their parents are not teaching them that they are or can be anything other than a boy or girl. So she's saying it would be confusing because their parents would not be teaching them that they could be anything other than a boy or girl. So that's what would make it confusing. I think someone here is confused, but it ain't the kids. They are using ages 0 through 17 as an example of transgenders. It's unreal. What? What example are they using? What's the example for? Why? I that makes no sense. Like none. I really wish Mary Kay would just learn the fucking country's language by now. I saw that, which makes me question them even bringing up the word pronoun to children that young. God damn it, it's called English. We had to learn pronouns. They should learn them too. That's what it is. What, you want to take verbs away next? Come on. I'm so glad my kids are done with school. And if this keeps up, I will encourage my family members with younger children to homeschool. Yeah. You can encourage people all you fucking want, but unless you're going to show up at their house at 9 a.m. and fucking get all the kids in line and quiet and teach them a lesson, I'm thinking your encouragement is going to fall flat on its face. Please encourage homeschooling every day. A great way you can encourage that is to teach the kids for them yourself. Yeah. Although I really hope no one takes, I hope you don't do that. Don't do that. Mary Kay, 2 words, mental illness. Okay, because there's no commas, there's no punctuation, I'm going to read this the way I want to read this. Mary Kay, 2 words, mental illness. Mary Kay is 2 words, and so is mental illness. That's how I'm reading it without the punctuation. Oh, and Mary Kay approves. Okay, so wait, they got labeled a different gender at birth. So the doctor pulled a gender out of a hate, okay. Or just said eeny, meeny, miny, mo. So also according to CDC, high school kids identified as transgender, yes, that's exactly what they're saying. So that means most are actually not. Well, according to the statistics given by the CDC, that would be correct. That these kids are just looking for attention. And last, there are transgender from 0 to 17, because any child 0, let's say 12, understand this horse shit. Okay. If you raise your kid who was born a boy to not play with Barbie dolls, and you raise your daughter to wear dresses, then they already have a good understanding of gender roles, okay? So ain't nothing being taught to them that they don't already know. All that they're learning is that some kids, when kind of pushed into these gender roles, some kids are not at all comfortable with this. They're not comfortable with the gender they were pushed into. Most are, yes, but some very small percentage of kids are not. And they identify with the gender they were like steered away from. That's all. And they're not looking for attention. In fact, most of them don't want attention, at least not your attention. Not like this, none of this. Most transgender people, I'll say kids, whatever, teenagers, young adults, anyone who's transgender does not want your kind of attention. I get that there may be a handful of people who are actually transgender. Do you though? Or just feel more comfortable the opposite sex? What's the difference? What's the difference if they're actually transgender or just feel more comfortable the opposite? What's the difference? But I'm sorry, there are not actually that many. The CDC said like 1 to 2%. 1 to 2% out of all kids, 0 to 17, there's like 1 to 2% that identify as this. It's not a lot. You're right, that is not a lot. It's more these kids are crying out for attention and their dipshit parents are going along with it because they need something to blame instead of looking in the mirror and seeing that they are the ones who effed up their child in the first place. Boy, you sure speak from a place of experience, it sounds like. But no, I digress. No, seriously. My bad. I take that back. But hearing this is not easy on any parent. If for no other reason, it's not easy because you know what your child is going to have to deal with. They're going to have to deal with this shit. So no parents are looking to use this as their shitty parenting scapegoats. And why is being transgendered fucked up? Why is it looking in the mirror and seeing that they are the ones who effed up their child in the first place? So you're saying that they were fucked up to begin with. That's why they're transgendered, and that's why the parents are blaming that on the transgenderism rather than blaming them. Okay. This shows why every other developed nation is killing us in academics. That's okay. Yeah. It wasn't at all like, I don't know, the groups of parents fighting shit like Common Core or anything. No, that wasn't it. We are too learn English, too worried about pronouns, wokeism, and DEI. You know, you might be right about this. Like, pronouns aren't even the difficult ones. Like, the fucking prepositions. Like, in the adverbs, like those are the really fucking crazy ones. Like, why can't we just, like, I don't know, stop using them or stop labeling them something? There needs to be a serious investigation of that school. The only teaching necessary in school is treat everyone with dignity and with respect. That's kind of what this helps ensure, is that everyone is treated with dignity and respect, not just the ones you approve of. Sexual advice does not, what? Sexual advice does not build. This is completely separate from sexuality. This is just who the person identifies within themselves, not who they want to date. Like they got to get right with themselves first before they even think about that. So it's weird that you would confuse the two. I'll never understand the plural pronouns. Pronouns suck. I was in New York City one time and this girl was wearing a button that said, I am they, them. You can't be more than one person. It's basic grammar. Actually, I would say that it's like basic mathematics. You're only one person, not two. And I challenge any human born as a man pretending to be a woman to spend a year with my uterus, and then we'll talk. Well, they can't, though they would probably love to. Is the uterus the thing that makes you a woman? Like if you have to have a hysterectomy at a very young age, at say like 25 because of medical reasons, does that make you no longer a woman? If you have a double mastectomy because of breast cancer, are you no longer a woman? Is the uterus the thing that makes you a woman? No, it isn't. It's what makes you female. Well, one of the things that makes you female, really, it's your chromosomes make you female. But what makes you a woman is more of a societal definition. Mental illness, Mary Kay says, and I'm so sick and tired of everyone talking about how we need to focus on mental illness, but these people have zero resources or help. That's what this group is providing, is resources. Unless the help is groomers suggesting to your child without your consent that perhaps he or she is transgender. Okay. No one suggests this to kids. The group is there. The space is there for those who are already feeling this. They've already suggested this to themselves. And this is a safe space. No one is going around school saying, hey, kid, want to join this after school club? You get to lose those trousers for, I don't know, cute little leather skirt or something. That's not what's going on here. Totally would have joined a group like that. Oh, for crap's sake. You are a boy or a girl, and you are either straight or gay. Let's let them get to age 22 and get a frontal lobe that's fully developed that allows kids to make rational decisions and have true awareness. You think you had true awareness at 22? Oh my God. I imagine I would have thought that I would have had it at 22, but looking back, I didn't have it at 22. Okay. And I agree. You are either a boy or a girl. And that's what they're saying. They're saying that, hey, I am living this life as one, but I really feel like the other. Let me live as the other. It's one or the other, right? You are either straight or gay. Well, there are those who are bisexual. Mary Kay says, that would be awesome. Great, so we're in agreement. I'm trans-athletic. I know that I'm a Hall of Fame player. I was just born in the wrong body and should be playing professional sports right now. I demand to be recognized as a professional athlete, and the NFL owes me a full contract. And if they refuse to sign me, they are bigots. Okay, see, I like to compare this myself often. I feel like I should have been like 5'10" at least. I'm 6 feet. I would love to be 6 feet tall. I really would be. But as much as I'd like to be, I can't go around demanding everyone get out of my way because I'm a 6 foot tall, statuesque figure walking down the hall or something. No, I can't. But I can find heels high enough that make me that tall if I want, and feel as though I am. So I guess here you could start your own league and be that professional sports player. There you go. See, what is that movie, Basketball? The founders of South Park there, they made a whole movie on creating their own sport and league just so that they could be world famous players. Go do that. These people are praying on confused children with weak or absent parents. That is all. Well, at least David Becker here knows his English. Maybe you can teach Mary Kay. Confused children with weak or absent parents. That is all. Oh, well, Mary Kay says truth. Look at that. Michelle says, during a time when children are developing and trying to figure out who they are as an individual and where they fit in, I believe every single human goes through that in their younger years. I'm so glad I'm an adult because as a young child, I was a major tomboy, left in the wrong hands. What? Left in the wrong hands, being of an innocent young mind at the time, I could have been swayed to believe that I should have actually been a boy. Just because you didn't want to wear dresses and because you like to climb trees, you think that you could have been just easily convinced to be a man. I can see it happen. You can see that shit happening. Oh my God. Young minds that are developing each day are easily molded. I'm curious, like what kind of things were you easily molded into doing? It's so strange. Mental illness. Next post we have here. Just some hate from one of the love is love people. Hate is not welcome here. But thanks for stopping by. I blacked out the name because I did. And this message allegedly says, just pull your bottom lip over your head and swallow, you bigoted cutters. While you're at it, just die. I'm not sure this person is sending you this message because of your Moms for Liberty activities. I mean, that could really be from anyone. Anyway, so here we have. Holy shit, talk about a sick person. I am at a loss of words, just vile. I will back you 100% always. Keep your words going, beautiful lady. Our children deserve it. MK, what the extra fuck? Yeah, pigs love pigs. Oink, oink, you nasty pile. Is that why they messaged Mary Kay? Is that what you're saying? That's what you're saying. That I see what you did there. I suspect he would not be so brave in person. But the thing is, though, in order to know that for sure, Mary Kay would have to be brave enough to show up in person. So I guess we'll never know. Precisely. All those keyboard warriors feel superior. That is until, as you said, are not so brave in person. Again, like, people show up, but then Mary Kay doesn't. Or Mary Kay will be there and other people will show up. And Mary Kay offers coffee. They should round up all these people and form a love is love rainbow trans flag army. Send them over to Syria or other extremist Middle Eastern countries and attempt peacekeeping and battle if necessary. Liberals can learn to squeeze a trigger too. Oh, come on. Like, you live in upstate New York. You realize that, right? You know you're surrounded by liberals, and we all love our guns. If they get caught, detained, or beheaded, oh well. The cost of fighting for what they believe in, no one within that liberal group excluded. It'll be an all-inclusive. You know, that would be a really noble cause to take up. But how about we do that here at home first? And another recent post. Oh, look who graduated. It's the dynamic communist duo. Okay, so for those of you who are not read up on this hate group here in Oneida County, New York, this kind of blew up a few months ago when Mary Kay went after an art teacher in this school district because somewhere amongst the many pictures and flags and stuff she had hanging up in her art room, there was a gay pride flag. Mary Kay zeroed in on that fucking flag. Said, nuh-uh, I'm not having this accepting shit in my school. No, every kid is going to feel like an outcast unless they're fucking normal. That's what Mary Kay wants. So anyways, she took to the internet, called this teacher's husband, pedophiles, groomers, and went wild with this. The local news picked it up, ran a couple segments on it. the superintendent had to come out and make a formal statement denouncing such hate speech from such hateful people. And there was a board meeting. Guess who was not there? Mary Kay was not there. The one who cares so much about fighting for these children ran away from that school board meeting where she could have fought for these children. But she didn't realize fighting actually meant fighting. The art and Spanish groomer and indoctrinator from CCS. Along with them is another groomer that runs the sex club with the art educator during lunch at Clinton Central School District. Superb. In case you didn't know, the New York State Teachers Union trains the indoctrinators and groomers in our schools to poison your children with their twisted progressive ideologies and racism. Mm-hmm. Social Justice Academy? How desperate. Of course, we can't say anything when it's completely obvious. DEI is racist. Mm-hmm. It sure is. I'm curious. I wonder, what is the Oneida County chapter head for Moms for Liberty doing to combat this obvious form of racism happening in her very own school district? What is she doing to combat this? I wonder. The only people committing racism and pushing racism is them. What do you mean, that? Who are them? So the Social Justice Academy is basically if Wish had a bad version of Temu, which had a worse version of Temu, then these guys would be the uber liberal version of Marvel superheroes with no conscious or morals. You mean conscience? With no conscious or moral. What? So would that be like a double negative of shitty Temu? And isn't Marvel already kind of uber liberal? I thought. Or progressive rather, I think. Oh, that made Mary Kay die. This one will last a second in Florida, much like any other rational thought or logic. Disgraceful. When will someone in that school have the balls to label them what they are and fire them? Well, maybe they're hiring. Now we know why cell phones are being banned in schools. I already knew. Well, if you already knew, then why didn't you tell everyone else? Why did you have to wait and find out with everyone else like this and then say you already knew? What else are you hiding? Oh, yes, we already knew. That makes two of you bitches knew, and you just didn't feel like telling anyone else. These people are disgusting. Cancer to children. Who even puts the words cancer and children in the same sentence? That's fucked up. Okay, get in touch with Education Secretary Linda McMahon. On it. Come on. You know she's not on it. I mean, really? Well, I mean, I guess maybe she would send an email, but I mean, if it requires her actually showing up someplace and doing something, she's not going to be on it. Clinton and New Harvard are cancer to our kids. Will you quit fucking putting those words together? For real. They should cease federal funding to that woke town. How nice they accept all the federal funding from the government in Harvard. I'm working on it. Sure she is. I checked out of Clinton. We go to neighboring towns for most things. The only thing I still can't stay away from is that book sale. I don't align with the people around here at all. I've met maybe 5 parents like-minded. Most are in favor of the child abuse. They will do whatever their peers are doing. They clap and cheer when the kiddos select new genders or sexual preferences. I can't be around that. Not can my kids. Might as well just avoid them and keep my family far away. Same. All of it. Okay, so there we go. That's why she's not showing up to anything. Commies. I just love the fact that boomers are so involved in their local politics on Facebook. Who even one cares about being called a commie anymore. Like, come on. Wow, what a waste of a town. Probably spent all their money on rainbow apparel. No, but that'd be so cool if they did. Shocked, but not shocked at the same time. Almost like you're bi shocked. Lunatic communists everywhere. I'm getting t-shirts made. Lunatic communists. Look for merch. It's just as well because of what the parade would have. Oh, okay. So I skipped over a screenshot here somewhere. Mary Kay had made a post saying how she was upset because the village of Clinton wasn't going to be doing the 4th of July parade because of all the construction they had going on right in the center of town. So she wanted to try and get a bunch of people to put cars in line and drive around town. She couldn't. It's just as well because of what the parade would have consisted of. They would have forced their way into the march like they did in New Hartford. They took away the meaning of a parade for the 4th of July or a parade for Memorial Day because they want to take over everything and make it all about them. Pretty sure the 4th of July parades and Memorial Day parades are still all about what they're intended to be about. They just also honor the gay military members. Amen. Those that actually stand. Too many have knuckled under and let them get their way. And that's why the parade in New Hartford was more like a pride parade. I did not see it myself. Somebody was telling me the other day how disappointed she was. She expected a celebration of veterans, and what she saw. Oh, so you didn't even see the parade. You're just claiming someone else told you how disappointed they were. Okay. You couldn't even be bothered to go to the parade to see it for yourself, and you're going to bitch about it? Oh, how patriotic. I say, let them look like un-American fools. Let us stand proud. You got to show up there first, though. If you want to stand, you got to show up there. Force their way? What happened? You know how they push their way through and insist on their rights. I imagine that's what they did in New Hartford's parade. I'm just guessing. But from the way that they have conducted themselves in the past, I'm pretty sure they pushed their way in, left people know what way to object. What? Okay, and there's the local update for the ridiculousness. I don't even know. It's a bunch of women mostly who meet. I'm guessing they meet like maybe once a month or once a week or something, maybe in person, probably on Zoom, because in person you'd have to show up, and talk about all the things that they could be doing against all the things that the other side is actually doing. Okay, real quickly, we're just going to wrap this up with a couple of, your typical Katie hypocriticals. Here we have someone asked her to cover Candace Owens. She goes, I don't know if I want to do that. Why would I cover Candace here? Just seems weird and totally irrelevant to my coverage and invites a fight with a creator I don't want to fight with. And then here she turns around and says, the creator I don't want to fight with. Why is that, Kate? Why don't you want to talk about her? I wonder. Okay, but next here we have a post by Katie. 22,380, the number of homicides in the United States in 2023. For some reason, the press fixates on specific cases that involve victims that are white women, beautiful and young. A murder of Idaho college students gripped the nation. Why? There are thousands of victims who die every year, unnamed victims, whose killers are not made famous. Stop making murderers famous. They do not deserve our attention. They do not deserve notoriety. They do not deserve press. The victims should not be exploited for financial gain. No, but the perpetrators usually do kind of deserve the shame that comes along with, the I don't know, I guess the guilt of the crime or whatever. And victims should not be exploited for financial gain. I'm sorry, what creator was it that had CPS at their house already and decided, let's turn this into some, I don't know, some interesting content. And somehow the FBI got a tip from someone that you were hiding brine laundry in your basement. So therefore, officials said we call out your house. And you said that that's the reason why they were there. But that wasn't the reason. The reason was because one of your neighbors called on you. That's why. Not because of brine laundry. Because of shouting or yelling or some shit like that. Huh. But you're right. The victim should not be exploited for financial gain. Next, we have Katie's responding to a comment of someone saying, "Hey, why don't you cover the Epstein files? I don't really have a dog in this fight. I'm just an Aussie over here. I'm just kind of curious." To which Katie says, "I haven't said anything about a secret list. And the federal government has admitted there are hundreds of thousands of pages of unreleased information. Please don't lump me in as the conspiracy theorist. If you are in Australia, then the issue doesn't really concern you, now does it?" But then we also have Katie saying this: "I think more attention should be focused on the fact that a 39-year-old teacher started an affair with a 15-year-old student." I have to agree with that. In the United States, Bridget Marcon would be a registered sex offender and charged with R of a minor. But apparently in France, this shit is legal. So in other words, you in Australia, don't fucking tell us what to do. But France, do as we say. So in here we have a screenshot. Katie saying, "Candace Owens is entitled to her opinions about life. But I'm so heartbroken to know that people watched Becoming Bridget and listened to her call LGBTQ people satanic. Kept listening. This is where I turned her off. I don't dislike Kansas, but I am bisexual. I'm not satanic, a pedophile, or evil. I am human. This isn't attacking another podcaster. It's standing up for myself and my identity." Her identity, yes. Because it's been so hard and trying for her living life as a heterosexual woman in a heterosexual relationship, monogamous relationship too, with that for the past 13 years. I mean, no one can possibly know the troubles she has seen. Because after all, gay pride isn't about openly loving who you actually love. It's about being open about who you could love if you wanted to. And this here, I thought that this would be a fun experiment. She says, "Also, the weirdest thing happened. I asked Chat GPT why Bridget Marcon preying on a child as a 39-year-old isn't called out for what it is. Chat GPT flagged my question, deleted it for violating their guidelines. Then their responses to me were then deleted and censored." Why doesn't she have a screenshot of any of this? She has one of everything else. But I think I'm thinking, though, I wonder what would Chat GPT have to say about Katie? Oh, well, okay, so I ran Katie through Chat GPT, and this is what it said. "The identity of this person is not fully disclosed in the available information as they maintain a level of anonymity, which is common for some online content creators. However, based on available sources, this is a YouTube channel and blog run by an individual. The channel focuses on discussing instances where people, kind of suck and have human flaws. They promote learning from mistakes and encourage compassion and understanding. The creator aims to address social media missteps without advocating for cancellation unless laws are clearly broken. The content emphasizes personal growth and maintaining the human aspect of social media interaction." All right, I can't. I put my own name, EKC People Talk, through Chat GPT, and this is what it came up as. "The identity of the person behind EKC People Talk is not fully disclosed in the available information as they maintain a level of anonymity." I really don't, though. Which is common for some online content creators. However, based on the available sources, this is a YouTube channel and blog run by an individual named Aaron K. Costello. The channel focuses on discussing instances where people publicly sought to highlight human flaws, promote learning from mistakes, and encourage compassion and understanding. The creator aims to address social media missteps without advocating for cancellation unless laws are clearly broken. The content emphasizes personal growth and maintaining the human aspect of social media interactions for male correspondence such and such. I thought that was funny. I mean, I don't necessarily think that this isn't. this is definitely what I aim to do and be with my channel. Whether or not I succeed at that is another story. But these are definitely my intentions. I will say that much is true. But I just found the difference in how her shit's described and how my shit's described. And if you want to hear how she's described, you're gonna have to go through that fun yourself. You know, AI, I think, sees things, sees a pattern of things, and recognizes things that we just, in our human minds, don't always see or recognize, whatever. So given that little tidbit of information, I would also like to just say to Mania and Cheshire to suck on that. Thanks for watching. Okay, I don't care about that. Okay, so, okay, and I'm going to end this video with taking a moment and remembering some of the greats who we lost this week. Hulk Hogan, of course, Ozzy Osbourne, of course, Malcolm Jamal Warner, and Anne Burrell from the Food Network. I don't really know who she was, but she had the, I guess, shit luck of passing away in a week where the greats were lost, and she might go overlooked, and I would hate to see that happen. Also, I want to say goodbye to another person who passed away this week, Chuck Mangione. He was from upstate New York, and he was a musician, a jazz musician. I think I would classify him as jazz, maybe. But he played like the trumpet and a few other instruments. I know he used to play in a lot of areas around here, and it's sad to see him gone. So, with that, I'm going to end this now, and I don't know. Thanks for watching, guys.